So we all know the holidays aren't always full of cheer, particularly when you're talking about money and holiday spending. That conversation comes up all the time if you're in a relationship. So this morning, we're tackling that touchy subject with WFMY News 2's Blanca Cobb. So Blanca, it seems to be a very important conversation, but a common problem among couples, spending.
Right. And the big issue seems to be assumptions. You make assumptions about, okay, this is how much I'm going to spend, so they automatically know, or they're automatically okay with it.
Right.
And during the holidays, people tend to bite their lip. Why? Because it's supposed to be a festive, a happy time, but it's the undercurrent of, wow.
Yeah.
And those assumptions can lead to conflict and disagreement in a time of year that's supposed to be really joyous.
Exactly, and you have to be careful with that. What happens a lot of times is someone might think, a partner in the relationship might say, you know what, I work really hard, and I know you do too if the other person works.
Yeah.
And it's you take this, you take it for granted, or you take me for granted, the sweat equity that it requires in order to make the money just to spend it. Not to say that spending on people isn't important, it's the amount of money that is called into question. And do we really have to spend that much?
Yeah.
So how can couples start having that conversation about money and trying to solve some of those problems?
Prevention. So before the holiday start, or even right now, right? We're just starting on December 1st.
Right.
Or even if you've spent a little, have that conversation and say, what are your expectations this year? What would you like to see happen? That opens the door. It gives them the opportunity to share with you what they're thinking. So you want to find out what they're thinking first, and then you say, I hear what you're saying, and this is what I'm thinking.
Right.
And if it's different,
Right.
then find a way to balance it. It's got to be a win-win.
And balancing the two families, especially when one family perhaps is larger than the other, what do you do? I mean, one solution I did growing up was we drew names. All the cousins drew names. We had one person we were getting a present for. The adults did the same thing. And it was really easy and really fun.
Yes. That is a great idea. One suggestion I would have with that is make sure you have a limit. Because you might say, okay, I'm going to spend $30, and someone else might think, the other person might go, oh, it's just $15.
Right.
And then you have the hurt feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So spending limit.
Yes.
If you do that route.
Well, we're talking about budgeting. I asked on Facebook this morning, do you balance your checkbook? And do you have one first, and do you balance it? And I asked that because I have a checkbook, balance it all the time. My husband does not even use a checkbook. He relies on his spending online. And, you know, we're talking about our holiday budgeting, and I'm like, oh, well, we can afford this. He's like, no, we can do this. And I'm like, we're not on the same, you know, my checkbook says this. He's like, well, the app says. I'm like, no.
The app's wrong.
The app is always wrong. But I mean, it's interesting. Weigh in on this if you can. You know, how do you balance a checkbook? And let us know, because I'm starting that poll right now.
A great poll to start.
Yeah, all right, great conversation, Blanca. If you'd like to continue this conversation, check out her Facebook page, give her a like, and send her a note on her timeline.